There's a kind of love that doesn't come with grand gestures, loud confessions, or flashy declarations. It doesn't flood your phone with "I miss you" texts or serenade you in public. Instead, it arrives softly, in glances, in pauses, in moments so small they're easy to miss. But if you look closely, you'll see the truth. He's already yours. Not because he said so, but because he shows it, silently, consistently, and deeply. Some men struggle to express what they feel in words. They've been taught to guard their emotions, to be logical, restrained, and composed. But love doesn't always ask for volume. Sometimes it just needs presence. And when a man is mentally and emotionally connected to you, his heart will speak in subtle ways. He might not say, "I'm in love with you," but he'll remember that you love ginger tea when you're anxious. He won't say, "I thought of you all day," but he'll send you a song that reminded him of you. He won't always make bold declarations, but he'll instinctively step closer when you're uncomfortable or pause before making decisions, as if checking with you in his mind. You won't need to ask for his attention. You'll feel it in the way he looks at you, as if just being near you settles something inside him. You'll notice how he listens, not just to respond, but to understand. How he mirrors your words, your tone, your energy. How you've quietly become part of his routine, his language, his future plans, without him even realizing it. This isn't just attraction. It's emotional anchoring. It's what happens when someone has made space for you in their inner world and isn't planning to let you go. If you've ever wondered whether a man sees you as more than just a passing moment, pay attention to the quiet signs. Because when a man is mentally already yours, he may not say much, but his silence, it's full of meaning. Let's look at the 15 subtle signs that reveal the truth he hasn't said out loud, but feels deeply every time he sees you. Would you like a YouTube description, thumbnail text, or social caption to go with this? 1. He remembers tiny details you forgot you mentioned. When a man is mentally already yours, one of the most telling signs is that he remembers the smallest details, even the ones you forgot you shared. It could be something as subtle as your favorite childhood snack, a passing comment about a stressful week ahead, or the name of a book you said you wanted to read months ago. These details aren't just information to him. They're pieces of you. And when a man holds onto those fragments, it means you've taken space in his mind and heart, even if he hasn't said it aloud. This kind of memory doesn't come from casual attention. It's deeper. It's not about being polite. It's about being emotionally invested. When someone genuinely cares, their brain naturally starts to prioritize your words. Even when you don't realize how much something means to you, he does. And he holds it close, quietly, almost protectively. These remembered details often show up in surprising moments. He might bring up an obscure reference from a past conversation during a random talk, or he might show up with something you casually mentioned liking months ago. The point isn't the gift or the gesture, it's the depth of his attention. He doesn't need reminders or notes. You've already become a part of his thought process. This kind of subtle remembering is powerful because it reflects emotional intimacy without loud declarations. It means he listens not to reply, but to understand. And in that quiet understanding, he's already placed you somewhere permanent in his mental and emotional world. When a man remembers what even you forget, that's no accident. That's quiet devotion. 2. He mirrors your texting pace and style. When a man starts mirroring your texting pace and style, it's not random. It's a subtle psychological cue that is emotionally aligned with you. Without realizing it, people naturally mirror those they feel close to or want to connect with. So if you're sending short, playful messages and he responds in the same tone, or if you take a few hours to reply and he begins doing the same, that's not just coincidence. It's emotional syncing. This doesn't mean he's playing games or copying you deliberately. It means your communication rhythm feels natural to him and is adapting to your pace without forcing it. If you use emojis a certain way or write in a certain tone, light, deep, humorous, or thoughtful, and he picks up on it and reflects it back, that's a quiet sign of emotional intimacy. It means he's not only reading your messages but feeling them and responding on your wavelength. Even when life gets busy, you'll notice he tries to match the energy you're giving off. If you slow down, he slows down. If you get more open, he responds with warmth. That kind of mirroring isn't just about texts. It's about emotional investment. It's his way of saying, "I'm here with you," without saying anything at all. In a world where people often rush through conversations, someone who subconsciously mirrors your pace is someone who's paying close attention. And when a man does that, it's a clear, subtle sign that his heart is already tuned into yours, even if he hasn't put it into words yet. 3. He starts using phrases you often say. When a man starts using phrases you often say, it's one of the most quietly telling signs that you've made a deep impression on him. It means he's not just listening to you, he's absorbing you. Your words have become familiar music to him. And without realizing it, he begins echoing your tone, your humor, even your expressions. It's a subtle but intimate form of emotional closeness. We naturally pick up the language of people we feel emotionally connected to. It's part of how the brain mirrors connection. It doesn't just mimic behavior, it mirrors speech. If you have a signature phrase, a unique way of joking, or even a quirky way of expressing emotions, and he starts weaving it into his daily conversations, that's not by accident. It's because you've mentally become part of his inner world. It's even more telling when he uses these phrases around other people, as if your voice has become part of his own. It could be a funny saying, a slang word you use often, or even the way you greet people or react to situations. The adoption of your words into his vocabulary reveals something unspoken, emotional identification. He sees you as someone he resonates with deeply, someone whose thoughts and expressions are worth keeping close. And he might not even realize he's doing it. But you will, in those quiet moments when he says something and you smile because it sounds exactly like you. That's when you know, mentally, emotionally, he's already yours. 4. He unconsciously includes you in his future plans. When a man begins to unconsciously include you in his future plans, it reveals just how deeply rooted you've become in his thoughts and in his life. This isn't about dramatic promises or formal commitments. It's in the subtle, offhand comments where he says we instead of I, or talks about next year's trip and naturally assumes you'll be there. He doesn't overthink it. He's not trying to impress you. It just slips out, because in his mind, you're already part of the picture. This kind of inclusion is powerful because it's unintentional. He might mention trying a new restaurant together, or say something like, "When we move to a bigger place," or "You'd love this city, we should go sometime." These aren't calculated lines. They're emotional reflexes. His brain has started to shape his future with you in it, because his heart is already leaning toward a shared path. What makes this sign so meaningful is the comfort behind it. There's no hesitation in the way he says it. He doesn't stop to check how you'll respond. He speaks from a place of quiet certainty, as if the idea of you being in his future just feels right. And often, these moments pass quickly, wrapped in casual conversation. But if you listen closely, they're the whispers of something much bigger, emotional commitment forming quietly beneath the surface. When a man mentally brings you into his future without needing permission or fanfare, it means you're not just someone he enjoys now. You're someone he's already beginning to imagine forever with, even if he hasn't said it out loud yet. 5. He checks in even when there's no reason to. When a man checks in with you even when there's no clear reason to, it's a quiet but deeply meaningful sign that you become a constant in his thoughts. He's not just reaching out because he has something specific to ask or say. He's reaching out because he simply wants to feel connected to you. These moments are often small, even mundane. A random "how's your day going?" or just thinking of you might not seem like much on the surface, but emotionally, they carry weight. He's not checking in out of obligation or habit. He's doing it because your presence, even through a message or short call, brings him comfort. It shows that your well-being matters to him in a quiet, ongoing way. He's not waiting for you to reach out first, and is not always looking for a deep conversation. Sometimes, he just wants to bridge the silence with your voice or your words. No agenda, just presence. These kinds of check-ins show that you're living in his mental space, even during the ordinary parts of his day. Whether he's at work, at home, or running errands, something or nothing reminds him of you, and he reaches for that thread of connection. It's simple, but sincere. There's no performance, no show, just genuine care expressed in small moments. This kind of consistency speaks louder than grand gestures. It means that being in touch with you isn't an event, it's a habit. And when someone makes space for you like that, unprompted and unforced, it's because you've already become part of how they experience the world. Quietly, fully, and emotionally. 6. He pauses before making big decisions, as if considering you. When a man pauses before making big decisions, not because he's uncertain, but because he seems to be silently considering you, it's one of the most telling signs that he's emotionally tethered to you. This isn't something he announces or even admits out loud. It's subtle. You might notice it in the way he hesitates before accepting a job offer, planning a move, or taking on a commitment. There's a brief silence, a flicker of thought, and somehow, you're a part of that mental space. He may not ask for your input directly, but his actions will tell you everything. He might say things like, "I'm still thinking about it," or "I'm weighing my options," when in reality, what he's doing is picturing how the outcome might affect you, your relationship, or your connection. In his mind, your presence is no longer separate from his life choices. It's a factor that matters. This pause doesn't mean he's dependent. It means he values you deeply. He's not just thinking about what's best for him anymore. He's beginning to wonder what's best for both of you. And even if the decision isn't directly about you, you still cross his mind as he makes it. That quiet pause is his unspoken way of checking. Will this bring me closer to her? Or push her away? It's a kind of invisible consideration, not loud, not forced, but full of care. And when a man starts doing that, it means his mind and heart are no longer operating on a solo track. You've entered the frame of his long-term thinking, whether he realizes it or not. And that's a powerful, deeply rooted kind of connection. 7. He brings up your name in conversations with others. When a man brings up your name in conversations with others, even when you're not around, it speaks volumes about where you stand in his heart. He might casually mention something you said, refer to a story involving you, or even quote your opinion during discussions. And he doesn't do it for effect. He does it because you've become part of his world, someone whose presence naturally weaves into his daily interactions. This habit isn't about boasting or proving a point. It's unconscious, unpolished, and genuine. When someone is emotionally attached, they carry you in the back of their mind throughout the day. And that mental presence eventually spills into speech. So when he's with friends, family, or co-workers, your name surfaces, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because thoughts of you are already there. You may hear about it through others. He mentioned you the other day, or you may notice how often he says, "You know what she told me," or "She would have loved this." These passing mentions are not random. They reflect how central you've become to his inner life. He sees you as relevant, valuable, and worth sharing, a quiet form of pride and connection that doesn't need grand statements. And when a man includes you in his stories, reflections, or jokes with others, it shows that you're not just someone he interacts with privately. You're someone he integrates into his broader life. Emotionally, that's a big step, because it means he's not only thinking of you, he's thinking of you in context of the people and spaces that matter to him. And that's where true emotional attachment quietly lives. 8. He shares songs, memes, or articles that remind him of you. When a man shares songs, memes, or articles that remind him of you, he's doing more than just sending content. He's giving you a glimpse into his emotional landscape. These small shares are personal echoes of how he experiences the world with you in mind. Whether it's a song lyric that mirrors something you once said, a meme that fits your shared humor, or an article that relates to a deep conversation you had, he's saying, in his own quiet way, "You were in my thoughts." This act reveals emotional presence. It means he's going through his day, encountering things, and instead of keeping them to himself, he instinctively connects them to you. It's like his mind is tuned to your frequency. He may not say much when he sends it, maybe just a "this reminded me of you," but the sentiment behind it runs deep. He doesn't need a special occasion to think of you. The world itself becomes filled with reminders of your presence in his life. And what makes this gesture even more intimate is its consistency. He doesn't wait for holidays or milestones. It could be in the middle of a busy workday, during a commute, or late at night. A sudden piece of music, a funny quote, a story, and you're the person he wants to share it with. It's a way of saying, I notice things, and I notice you in them. Over time, these tiny moments create a thread of emotional continuity. They tell you that even when you're not together, you're still part of how he experiences the world. That kind of silent connection, built through shared meaning, is a subtle but powerful sign that emotionally, he's already yours. 9. He gets protective in subtle ways. When a man is emotionally attached, one of the quietest but most powerful signs is the way he becomes subtly protective. He may not make grand displays or dramatic gestures, but in small, almost invisible ways, he starts guarding your peace, your comfort, and your well-being. It could be as simple as guiding you through a crowded space with a gentle hand on your back, noticing when you're tired before you say it, or stepping in when someone speaks to you disrespectfully, without making it a scene. This kind of protectiveness isn't possessive or overbearing. It's calm, it's quiet, and it comes from a place of care, not control. It's the way he notices when you're uncomfortable and shifts the conversation. It's how he makes sure you get home safe, or keeps an eye out when you're walking together late at night. He won't always say, I'm protecting you, but his actions will, in the softest, most reassuring ways. What makes this so significant is that he doesn't do it for show. Often, no one else even notices. But you do. You feel it in the way he looks at you when you're upset, or the way he gently steps between you and someone rude. These are the moments when his emotional connection to you shines, not through words, but through instinct. It means you matter to him, deeply, that your safety, your emotional space, and your peace of mind are something he values. When a man starts doing these little things without being asked, it's not because he's trying to be heroic. It's because your well-being has become his quiet priority. That's how you know he's emotionally invested, and already yours in the places that truly count. 10. He prioritizes your comfort without being asked. When a man prioritizes your comfort without being asked, it reveals a deep emotional attachment rooted in attentiveness and quiet care. He doesn't wait for you to speak up or express discomfort. He notices. Whether it's adjusting the fan when you're cold, offering you the better seat, remembering how you like your coffee, or slowing his pace to match yours while walking, these are not random acts. They are intentional signs of someone who is thinking of you, even in the smallest details. He doesn't do it because you demanded it or made a scene. He does it because your ease matters to him more than his own. He pays attention to what makes you feel safe, warm, relaxed, understood, and he subtly makes room for that in his actions. When you're in a social setting and he senses your unease, he stays close. When you're tired, he changes plans without making you feel guilty. When you're overwhelmed, he finds ways to take pressure off without saying much at all. This kind of behavior doesn't come from obligation. It comes from genuine emotional investment. He sees your comfort not as an afterthought, but as part of his natural rhythm. And the most beautiful part is not doing it to earn anything. He's not waiting for applause or praise. In fact, you might not even realize how often he does it, until one day, you look back and realize how deeply you were cared for in the quietest of ways. That's when you know he doesn't just like you. He's emotionally tuned in. Because when a man starts making choices based on your comfort, instinctively, selflessly, he's already holding space for you in his heart. 11. He notices your mood shifts before anyone else. When a man is emotionally attached to you, one of the most striking signs is how quickly he notices your mood shifts, often before you've even said a word. Others might overlook your silence or misread your smile, but he senses the subtle changes. The way your tone softens, the glance you avoid, the moment your energy dips. He picks up on all of it, quietly, instinctively. This isn't about being overly analytical or dramatic. It's about connection. He's tuned into you on a deeper level, enough that he can read the emotional language you don't speak out loud. Even when you try to mask your feelings, out of politeness, pride, or habit, he sees through it. He'll ask, "Are you okay?" Not because he said something was wrong, but because he felt it. And what makes it even more powerful is how gently he responds. He doesn't push or pressure. He gives space when needed and presence when it matters. Whether it's a small, comforting gesture, a shift in his tone, or simply offering quiet company, he adjusts, almost without thinking, to match your emotional state. That kind of attunement only happens when someone truly cares. You might find yourself surprised at how seen you feel around him, how safe, how understood, even in silence. That's not something you can fake or force. It comes from emotional closeness that's already been built. And when a man consistently senses your emotional weather, the storms and the sunshine, before anyone else, it's because, emotionally, he's already walking alongside you. Step by silent step. 12. He smiles to himself when you walk in. When a man smiles to himself the moment you walk into a room, it's one of the purest, most unguarded signs that is emotionally attached and doesn't even realize he's showing it. It's not a forced grin or performative gesture. It's that quiet, almost involuntary smile that plays at the corners of his mouth before he even looks up fully, as if the simple presence of you shifts something inside him, as if his entire mood just got lighter without needing a reason. This kind of smile speaks of comfort, of joy, of quiet appreciation. It's how the body reacts when the heart feels something real. He may try to hide it, especially if he's not ready to admit how much you mean to him, but it'll show in those fleeting expressions. The kind where he glances at you and his eyes soften, like he's caught in a moment he doesn't want to explain. He could be in a group, mid-conversation, or even having a rough day, and yet, just your presence shifts his energy. That unconscious smile isn't about attraction alone. It's about recognition, familiarity, warmth, a sense of she's here, and that's enough. What makes it so meaningful is that it's unspoken. There's no announcement, no expectation, just a quiet reaction that reveals the truth he might not yet have the words for. When a man begins to light up simply because you entered the room, without you having to do anything at all, that's not just affection. That's emotional grounding, and it means, in his heart, he's already home when you're near. 13. He starts liking things he never cared about, just because you do. When a man starts liking things he never cared about before, simply because you do, it's a quiet, tender sign that is already emotionally invested. These shifts are rarely dramatic. He might not suddenly become obsessed with your favorite band, hobby, or TV series, but you'll notice him engaging with the things you love, even if they were never on his radar before. He'll start asking about your favorite author, or sit through a movie genre he never used to enjoy. He'll remember the name of your favorite cafe or try a recipe you once talked about. Not because he's trying to impress you, but because your interests have become meaningful to him, simply because you attached to them. This isn't about changing who he is. It's about expanding who he is to make room for you. Emotionally, it shows that he values your joy, that what excites or comforts you matters to him. 2. He begins to understand the world through your lens, or at least wants to try. He may even surprise himself by genuinely enjoying something he once overlooked, simply because he experienced it with you or through you. What makes this so special is that it happens naturally, without fanfare. He might not even realize he's doing it, but you will. You'll see it in the way he brings up something you love in casual conversation, or in the way he gently teases you about it, while secretly becoming a fan himself. It's in those moments that his emotional connection shows, not through declarations, but through curiosity, effort, and quiet transformation. Because when a man starts embracing what you love, he's already holding a piece of your world in his heart. 14. He lets his guard down around you more than anyone else. When a man lets his guard down around you more than anyone else, it's a powerful sign that you've reached a place in his life that few others have. Men are often taught, consciously or not, to keep their emotions protected, to appear strong, unbothered, in control. So when he chooses to peel back that armor in your presence, even just a little, it's not just trust, it's emotional intimacy unfolding quietly. You'll notice it in the way he allows silence to sit without awkwardness, or the way he shares thoughts he normally keeps to himself. Maybe he talks about his fears, past mistakes, or dreams he doesn't reveal to others. Maybe he doesn't always need to be on around you. He shows you not just the polished parts, but the raw, unfiltered ones too. The parts that are unsure, tender, even vulnerable. Letting his guard down isn't always dramatic. Sometimes, it's just in how he breathes differently when he's with you. How his shoulders relax. How he confesses a worry late at night, or admits when something hurt him. It's in the quiet trust he places in you to see him. Not the version he shows the world, but the man behind it. This level of openness doesn't happen overnight. It's earned, slowly, and when it happens, it means he's not just comfortable, he feels safe. Safe enough to be real. And that's a rare, sacred kind of emotional connection. When a man can be his truest self with you, messy, honest, uncertain, and trusts you with that side of him, it means you're no longer just someone in his life. You're the one he's letting into his inner world. That's love, unfolding in silence. 15. He seems emotionally full, just by being around you. When a man seems emotionally full just by being around you, it's one of the most gentle yet profound signs that is already yours in ways words can't express. He doesn't need constant validation, grand gestures, or dramatic moments to feel connected. Your presence alone brings him peace, the kind that's hard to fake and impossible to force. You'll notice it in the way he softens when you're near, in how his energy steadies, how the tension in his voice eases, how his smile becomes more genuine, not flashy or performative, but calm, content. You don't need to entertain him or impress him. Just being beside you seems to fill some invisible part of him. And that fulfillment isn't loud, it's quiet, like the stillness that comes after a long search finally ends. He may not say much about it, but his body language will tell you. He leans in without thinking, lingers a little longer, and doesn't rush to leave. When he's had a hard day, being with you doesn't just distract him, it restores him. You're his reset, his calm in the noise. What's beautiful about this kind of emotional fullness is that it doesn't ask anything of you. It's not about doing more, it's about simply being. And that means you've become something incredibly rare to him. Home. A place where he doesn't have to earn love or prove anything. A place where just your presence is enough. When a man consistently seems emotionally nourished just by being near you, it's because his heart is no longer searching. In his own silent way, he's already chosen you. Not for what you give, but for how you make him feel when everything else fades away.